Welcome to I'm Doing Well. This is my podcast. Who am I? That's first off, can I just say, great question. That is one of the best questions to ask someone when they start talking to you. You want to know where they're coming from. Who are they? Why are they talking to you? Well, actually, not in all cases. In some cases, it would be better not to know, because if someone asks you for direction somewhere, and you don't know their intent, you just know that they're trying to get somewhere, maybe it's good to not know who they are, because maybe they were asking you where a certain river was because they're trying to hide a body. And in that case, you don't want to know who they are, because then you get mixed up in that whole thing. I've been thinking about this podcast for I've been thinking about it for 2 or 3 years now. I can tell you the story about one of the first times I started considering doing a podcast, but I've really seriously considered doing this podcast, with the name, with this setup, for a month now. And every day, in the shower, my conscious, I think that's who it is. That is your conscious, the one that talks to you, right? When you talk to yourself, that's your conscious. But my conscious and I, well, if my conscious, then who's I? Anyways, for the past month, every time I shower, every time I, try to go to sleep, I basically do an entire episode of this podcast just to myself, because I've started this podcast easily 40 to 50 times, and every single one did not involve someone asking you where's this river so that they can, hide a body. I thought, this was going to be a really good intro, and I went there first, which things derail fast, I think. If you classify that as derailing, that could not even be derailing if that's on your rail. If that's on if that's on the way to where you're going. I just laughed because I realized this doesn't have to be good. And I know that's so awesome. That's one of the reasons I wanted to start this podcast, is because I've gotten so nervous that what I'm making isn't good, that I wanted to make a podcast. So I make something every week, and I just know it's bad, and I will just put it out, because just when you don't make something for a long time, you get scared that the next time you make something has to be a bigger bang, it has to be really good. So then you spend more time on it, you overthink it when you don't need to. And so if I keep putting out, these little podcasts every week, then I think that fear will go away. I never explained who I am. My name is Gauruv Virk. I'm a 4th year electrical engineering major at UC Davis. This is what I tell everyone, because right now I'm a college student, and that's the most defining part of you. I guess, for the first chunk of your life, being a student, if you, have grown up with the privilege of being able to have access to academics and getting an education, we identify as students, right? That's our biggest thing. And then after that, we work. I think so. I think that's the next step. I don't know. I've never played that board game called Life, That's a lie. That is a full-blown lie. I have played that game. I think once, and it was digitally. It was on, I think, an iPod Touch. I remember I was on vacation. I remember specifically, it was in the middle of a stairwell. You go up the stairwell. Yep. And you can go down a stairwell. Who would have thought? And I played Life. And I don't think I won. Which is crazy that the game of life has losers and winners, right? I think. Or no, maybe I just made that up, because that's what I think of real life. Oh no. I think everyone in the game of life just ends up with a certain situation, and it's up to them to be oh yeah, I'm digging that. I feel good about that. Anyways, yes, I'm 4th year. electrical engineering major at UC Davis. An overall hunk and internet's favorite bad boy. Awesome. Um, I think these podcasts will be right around 45 minutes. I'm going to aim at that. Now, you might ask yourself, why? Why are they 45 minutes? Um, I don't know. I I've looked at some other people that do podcasts, and theirs are 45 minutes. So I'm copying them. And with most of the content, you make online, I think that's a really good strategy to do, actually. If you go to UC Davis, there's a thing called Aggie Connections. I think typically first years take them, and it's like this, what is it? 1 to 2 unit class or something. And you take it just for fun, And my friend, Alex Fisher Wagner, he was doing one, like he was holding one. He was the teacher, He was teach, good old prof. And he had us, not us, no us. Well, there is an us, and I'm part of the us. Anyways, let me tell the story. He wanted to, first off, sorry, jumping the gun. He has a connection, and he teaches students how to have a voice as a freshman, and that translates into making YouTube videos. And so it's like how to make YouTube videos. That's essentially what his connection was about. Which, if you think about it, that's wild that there's a class that you can earn units for at UC Davis. That is how to make, YouTube videos. Imagine that 10 years ago. That'd be wild. It's still wild today. But 10 years ago, super wild. I don't have a very good vocabulary. So most of the times I don't use complicated words. I just say words that I know, and I put very and super in front of it. And yeah. Anyways, when I was in teaching this thing, he thought it'd be a good idea to have some guests and come speak to his class, and an invite fell my way, and no, you don't know, I'm telling you. And and so I got to do the first one. I think it was right before Halloween. I think I did it. It was like October 22nd or something. And I told the class, copy who you like on YouTube, and then in time you'll find your own style, slowly but surely, because you'll copy that person. But then even the first time you copy them, you're gonna see, I don't really like that title they use, like that font. I'm gonna use this other font. And even if the colors, the background, everything's the same, you change the font. So already it is, your version. You tried to copy, but you didn't quite copy. Do you copy me? Oh, little walkie-talkie talk. Copy. Roger, Roger. People don't say Roger, Roger on a walkie-talkie, do they? Anyways, I should address why I look like this. Why I look like shit. No, I don't know if I do look like shit. The thing is, this eye, I think, maybe like 30 minutes ago, was super red. And I can explain. I have a very good explanation. The best explanation. I slept 3 hours last night. No, don't get on me, okay? I have an explanation for that too. I've been working on a big project for my YouTube channel, and this podcast, if you're listening to this, like when it comes out, this podcast will be out before that project goes out. But so I don't want to talk too much about it. I can talk about it on my next podcast. I never thought I'd have a podcast. I just can't afford therapy, I just no. That's why people start podcasts, right? It's like free therapy, because there's no way people think other people care about their opinions, right? That can't be it. No. There is no gosh darn way. In my next podcast, I can talk about my big project. But I've been in Davis for the past 3 days, just working on that. That's the whole reason I'm here. Usually I'm in my hometown. It's about 45-ish minutes from here. If you really put the pedal to the metal, maybe like 37 minutes. Yeah, if you're a real Speedy Gonzales, you get 8 minutes. Congrats, you know? That's it. Speeding is never worth it. Like if you speed to go back to my hometown, yeah, you get 8 extra minutes. What is 8 extra minutes? That's crazy. You know, just don't speed. You know, be safe. I don't even know how I got on here. See, this is so cool. I can just admit that right now, don't know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't matter because honestly, I don't care if anyone listens to this. This is just like for me. And that's kind of why I named it the way I did. I'm doing well. I struggle with this question that people ask me. And it's a very normal question. Like, it's good. I like when people ask me it, but it makes me really anxious, I think. When people say, "How are you?" I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, how do you answer that question? So, I don't know. Most of the time I just said, I'm doing good. But I looked up if that's grammatically correct, and it's not. So, if I'm going to name a podcast something, I want it to be grammatically correct. So I named it "I'm Doing Well" instead of "I'm Doing Good." Because, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. It's such a simple question. Like, what have you been up to this week? Or how are you doing? Those are my whole body goes into fight or flight. There we go. Because I don't know what to say, man. I don't know. Most of the time, I don't know if I'm doing, how I'm doing. Oh no. See, this is what happens. What are we? I think we're like a little over 10 minutes into this thing. And I'm already getting into that weird existential, self consciousness. Like that consciousness I was talking about that talks to me. Or like it's me talking to me. It gets bad really quick. Like it's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. My consciousness. I'm gonna keep referring to it as that. I don't know if that's true. He's like really funny for the first like 5-10 minutes. It's really great, and then it gets really dark, and I'm like, oh god damn it, why are you doing that? Anyways, this project's gonna be super dope. I can't wait for y'all to see it. I don't even know who y'all are. I genuinely don't know who's gonna listen to this. And if you are listening to this, how did you make it, 12, 13 minutes in? How are you still listening? That's insane to me. What have you thought of it so far? What is it good? I don't know. I mean, hopefully you tell me. Comments? Let me tell you what. I've been doing YouTube now for a little over 3 years. I think 3.5 years. And man, comments and likes. That's the shit, man. That's some good shit. Woo! Oh man, it is so fulfilling every time you see another comment. You know, you get the little notification, the bell thing on the top right corner of YouTube. You get that little one. It's a little red one. It really gives you some dopamine, right? When you see that like red color, or like that orange of Instagram. Every time you see a comment, because it's like, that means another human being, unless like, your dog got on the keys and was like, yo, rough. That's a dope vid. G dog. You think dogs call other dogs their first name than dog? Like my dog's name is Odin. Do other dogs think he's O-Dog? And then Maggie, our other dog, M-Dog and O-Dog, Mo-Dog. It's just hilarious. That's the thing, this is the first episode. So some people just might sit through this first one just because they're like, let's see what the fuck he's doing. And you just listened to me say that, and you're still listening to me. That's so funny that you listen to that. That's hilarious. Oh my god. Oh, I hit the table. I'm so sorry. That's gonna sound. I'm sorry. I probably hurt your ears. I apologize. Man, I don't. I'm so curious. Who's listening to this? How do you know who I am? That's man. Anyways, whoever you are, that. However you know who I am, you have now listened to me for 15 minutes. This is such a meta dumbass podcast episode because it's just me talking about how crazy it is that people are listening to me talk right now. And I think I've cited the time maybe 4 or 5 instances now. But I would guess if, you know who I am on the internet, you probably know me through UC Davis. It's a school. It's a college. I don't know if you heard of it. We're the Aggies, but that's not special because that's the mascot of other colleges. So what are we doing? Oh my God. I don't want to talk too much about Davis in this episode. I'm definitely going to address Davis, and I know maybe as more people will not listen to this podcast, but as more people become aware of the podcast, they might be like, can you talk about this thing about Davis? And I'm down to talk about it. I don't want to talk all about Davis on this podcast because this podcast is for me, I guess. But that's the thing. People have asked me, do you make, what are you going to do after Davis? And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? And they're like, well, you're going to stop doing YouTube? I was like, oh, no. I didn't start YouTube because of Davis. I started YouTube and I just talk about what's going on in my life. And like I said earlier, the biggest thing in my life right now is that I'm a college student. So a majority of my content centers around that I'm a college student. If I was, the musician, I would be talking about that, but it's not that I'm not a musician. Like I play a few instruments. Like I play guitar, ukulele. I can play the baritone probably still. I played it for 6 years, middle school, high school. Trumpet, I bet I could play. I played that for 2 years in middle school. And then, valve trombone, if you count that as separate from a baritone. But yeah, I wouldn't call myself a musician, I like playing instruments. But I don't know. I don't think I'm a musician. That seems really official. That seems like you're putting all your eggs in that basket. And the basket is being a musician. It's crazy. I don't think I've said one, funny thing on this podcast. The word podcast is insane to me. I don't understand how you can start a podcast. Let me actually tell you that story. I think 2 years ago, a friend invited me to his apartment because he just wanted to talk YouTube stuff. But when I got to his apartment, we sat there and we realized, let's chew on something. So he had a dog, and we started biting on his toys. But then we were like, nope, we have an appetite. So we went and we walked across the street because we're savages and we don't drive. We use our feet to get everywhere. It's unbelievable. I bumped the table again. Sorry. It's a desk. It's not a table. Okay, so easy. Anyway, Jesus. We crossed the street, in a bipedal way, because we're humans, and we didn't take a car. And I really hope I used the word bipedal correctly there, because I took a chance. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I took a chance. I don't know if I used that word correctly. So, let's hope I did. Oh, so here's the thing. I record my audio on GarageBand, right? And I'm on a Mac. So if you don't touch, you don't interact with your Mac, screen goes to sleep. But the system's still working. So the screen went to sleep there. Anyways, we crossed the street and he's like, you want to get coffee? And I'm like, no thanks. So he's like, oh, okay. Do you want to get boba? And at the time, I wasn't too big a fan of boba. I'm not going to lie. Guys, I used to not be a fan of boba. I'm sorry. I went to San Francisco one time when I was in high school. You can see it. It's on my Instagram. At Gauruv Virk. No, if you're, 20 minutes into this thing and you don't follow me on Instagram, that's insane. The only explanation is maybe you don't have Instagram. Because why would you listen to me for 20 minutes? And and we're not like mutuals on the gram. I think saying on the gram is so hilarious. Anyways, I was like, no, I'm good. Good on coffee. He was like, you want boba? I was like, ah. The problem was, and I've told people this, there's certain things where I just don't risk it. Boba, Subway. Boba and Subway. I don't go to them because there's too many options. And I feel like I'm going to make a mistake. So I just avoid them. And Chipotle. That was the third one. I was trying to think of it. I couldn't remember. Boba, Subway, and Chipotle I try to avoid because I don't want... There's too many options. And I feel like, I'm going to fuck something up. So I just avoid them. Would I like to eat a steak burrito? Sure. But what if I don't put hot sauce in it? And then it's just like meat and then wet stuff in a tortilla. Anyways, so I said, no, I'm good on boba. So he gets some, and then we sit there and we talk for a little bit. Talk about some Lego stop motion stuff. Anyways, that shit. That was really specific. So now, if that person listens, they know exactly who they are. Anyways, then we got, supermarket. Maybe it was O'Reilly's, a Safeway. I don't remember. No, actually, shit. I know it was a Safeway. God, I've given. There's such specific details in this story that there are people in my life that could narrow down exactly who this is based on what I just said. Shit. Anyways, me and this person. I haven't said a gender yet, have I? Okay. So me and this person, or a pronouns. Yes. We go to, what was it? Safeway? Yes. And we're searching for the meats, and he asked me, because he has, these are such identifying things. Oh my God. So he lives near a boba place, a Safeway, and he has a podcast. Great. So that, damn it. I'm going to dox so many people accidentally on this stupid thing. Anyways, he was doing a podcast. He doesn't do it anymore, but he was doing one at the time. And he asked me, he was like, why aren't you doing a podcast? This was 2 years ago. I was like, I don't know. I've talked about it with my friends before. Friend. I don't. I do not have excess in that category. I have one friend, and I was like, I talk to my friend about it sometimes, and every time I reach the finish line of thinking it's a good idea, I quickly give up. I DNF myself, I do not finish, or did not finish. So I said, I don't know. I just don't think people would be interested in what I have to say. Which, what are we, I'm going to do it again. What are we, 25 minutes on this and you're still listening? So obviously someone cares what I have to say. If I reference the time, the duration of this podcast one more time, I'm going to. What am I saying? I'm 100% going to reference it. I told this gentleman, he's a guy, okay? Him. I've given it away at this point. I told him, I don't think people care what I have to say, and I don't want to do that, I don't want to waste time doing that, because then it'll take time away from YouTube, which is ironic, because like I said before, the reason I'm starting this is because I think it will make my YouTube consistency better, because I'm just too nervous with what I make now, because I don't make stuff often. So when I do make stuff, I spend just so much time on it because I feel like every at bat, every video, I'm going to say is an at bat. I want to give my best swing, you know? And sometimes you do give your best swing, but you just don't make contact, or, you tip off with 2 strikes and then you get thrown out. It's like, I don't know, it's tough. But I'm hoping a podcast makes it less tough. I'm hoping that, just being able to do this. Also, I think there's this weird misconception that I'm like comfortable on camera. Um, for the most part, that statement is correct. But I have to spend the whole day hyping myself up to be able to record a video. I don't think maybe like a handful of people know this. All my YouTube videos are recorded between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. because the whole day I'm just like anxious thinking about, okay, I gotta like record this video. Because the hardest part of doing anything for me is starting. But then once I'm in it, it's the easiest thing in the world. But pressing the record button and, record button, all the record buttons, that's the hardest part for me. Actually, really any activity in life, I find that starting it is hard. And that boils down to the most basic things, like waking up every day. That's the first thing you start every day, just waking up, starting your day. That is so, I found it in the past couple of years so difficult. Just waking up every day. I don't know. It's so hard. I want to do this one day, but last year I made a Christmas music video and I wrote a song. It's called Christmas in College. It's on my YouTube channel. And I want to one day break down all the lyrics of that video because the lyrics do mean a lot. I don't know why, but I put so much meaning into that song. And there's I don't remember the exact line, but there's a shot where I say I can't get out of bed because I'm feeling too blue. And it's funny, I turn my face blue. Haha, I think something rhymed with blue. But that was like very real this time last year. Like it was cold outside. That didn't help either. But just, man, starting days sucked. See, now we're back in that part of my brain where it's like super, it's not dark, but I don't know. So yeah, I told him, I don't know, I'm not going to do a podcast. And now here we are 2 years later. And this is my podcast. I have to give a really, really big shout out to Alum. Alum is a friend of mine. I knew I was going to talk about this on a podcast, but I don't know if you noticed, I like stuttered a little bit when I said like friend. I have such a hard time calling someone my friend because I don't want to like put that on them, because then they have to be like attached to me in a way. Like if someone finds out, like we'll take Alum for example. If someone finds out Alum is one of my friends, then they'll be like, oh, like that says that Alum has essentially co-signed and signed off on, or like, accepted my behavior. And it, to me, it feels like it puts a weird burden on them to be like, yeah, we are friends, because I don't want them to ever have to be responsible, for something stupid I do. And let me go ahead. Oh, by the way, this is going to happen. I already knew this was going to happen. The screen probably went to the art of this podcast, or like some screen, because I film on a DSLR. And so I think Cody Ko said this on one of his podcasts. A DSLR can't technically be referred to as a video camera. Or like they don't want it to be referred to, the manufacturers or producers or Canon or whoever they don't want it to be referred to as a video camera because apparently that makes taxes go up, I think. So they cut it off at 29 minutes and 59 seconds because as long as it doesn't record more than 30 minutes, it's not technically a video camera. It's still just like a non-video, camera. And so, yeah, that'll happen, around the 30-minute mark of every one of these. I'm going to fade into that screen and then fade out of it. And we're back here. But yeah, I don't know. That friend thing's weird. I've broken it down with some people. No, I haven't. I actually have. I've actually never told anyone my friend theory, like why it's hard to call people a friend. It feels weird. I don't know. That's that's weird, man. But yes, interesting. Today is December 18th. I'm hoping this goes up on December 21st. So it's recorded on a Friday. It'd be dope if it went up on a Saturday. Sorry. It's recorded on a Friday. It'd be dope if it went up on a Monday. But Saturday, tomorrow, is December 19th. And that's my birthday. That's weird. That's crazy. I don't know. Like, birthdays are weird. That was like the day that you came in. You came online. No, I think I came online when I was like 4 or something. I didn't even know I was a thing until I was like 4. I think I remember my first memory. I think I was in, the dining room of my hometown home, and I was behind a present, and I pushed the present aside, and I was under a desk, so it had, shelves, table on top. I was in the gap in the middle where you would, usually scoot a chair in. And I was there, the hole was covered by a present. And I pulled the present aside, and there was a party happening. And then that's like the first memory I have of life. That's when I came online. But when I technically came online was 4 years earlier on December 19th. And I'm turning 22 tomorrow. Or if you see this the day it comes out, 2 days ago. And how does it feel, you might ask? Well, luckily Taylor Swift wrote an entire song. So I think you listen to that and you get a pretty good idea. I'm actually going to look up Taylor Swift. We love TS. 22 lyrics and see if they apply to me. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. It feels like a perfect night to dress up like hipsters and make fun of our exes. Tay probably sings it. It's more lyrical when she says it. It feels like a perfect night for. But by the way, I don't have an ex because I hit the button. I'm just kidding. I'm the guy asking for directions. It feels like a perfect night for breakfast at midnight. Feel like perfect night for breakfast at midnight. Okay. To fall in love with strangers. Once again, T Swift probably nails that. Anyways, let's get to that main part that everyone knows. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Everything will be all right if you keep me next to you. Wait, who's you in this situation? Do I have a you? Is there someone who's you? Let's get more context. You don't know about me, but I'll bet you want to. Everything will be all right. We just keep dancing like we're 22. So I guess you are a love interest in this song, and me is me. I'm me. 22 sounds fucking exhausting, if you ask me. No, let me tell you what. Age has never been weird. I have felt weird about getting older when I turned 17. When I turned 17, that's when I was like, oh my God, oh shit, oh. Every one of these years is like a year I'm getting older. When I turned 20, that was when I felt the most oh, what the hell? It's because the number in front changes. Also, that day, I actually recorded a video on that day. I used to have this series. I mean, I still have the series, but pandemic has kind of put it on hold. I have a series called Takeout on my YouTube channel. It's where me and my friend Hoyer go and get food from some drive-through, and then we taste it, and then we rate it. And on my 20th birthday, we went and we did a Burger King takeout. And that day was so garbage. I woke up and my whole back just like pulled itself. It was like tense. And then I think I didn't put it in the video, but I think I like spilled a bunch of shit all over myself. And then it was like a weird afternoon. It was just like 22 welcomed me just in the worst way. It'd be like if you went to a gas station trying to get an icy, and the guy behind the counter said, "Oh, sir, sorry, our icy machine is broken." And I was like, "Oh, well, what is this, a McDonald's?" And then he took an icy from behind the counter and threw it square at my chest. And I'd be like, "Well, so does the machine work?" And he'd be like, "Nope. I got the last of it. Just to throw at you." And that kind of is how it felt to turn 20. You know, getting the last amount of icy from a gas station thrown at you. If you're still listening to this, I just want to say that's insane. But like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. I was working on that project. The thing is, I really want to talk about it next week. Next week was really when I can talk about it. But last night's filming session went till, I think it was 10 or 11 p.m. And I had to get up at 6:15 this morning to do, a shot for today. But the thing is, last night, technically it was morning, I went to sleep at 2:40. So I only really got 3.5 hours of sleep. And I feel like shit. I don't feel like shit. I'm just a little tired. That's it. Most of the time, like it's not that bad. Like, when you don't get sleep or whatever. I'm not advocating for not sleeping. I'm just saying, in terms of how you feel. It's just a little tired. I don't really feel like shit. I'm just like, it'd be dope to take a nap or something, But for the most part, feeling good. We wrapped up the project today. We wrapped up shooting. Now, I got to talk with someone for the next couple days to get one part of the project figured out. And then I have to do some editing on my own. And then the project will hopefully be done next week. Yep. It should be really exciting. I don't know. I was looking at it a little bit. And it looks really dope. I just hope I put it together correctly, That's the thing. I have all the parts, but I hope they fall into place. Anyways, I want this podcast to hopefully, have a little section on my Discord. I'll make a little text channel for it. So if you want, for me to talk about something, that sounds stupid. I hate when people say that. If you want, me make a video or whatever, let me know. It's like, no, just make what you want. Isn't that why you're doing it? Because you wanted to make stuff? Don't ask people for ideas. I don't know. But your audience knows, where the demand is. So it makes sense. I'm just tired. I'm sorry. But it'd be dope if like my Discord, kind of worked in tandem with the podcast. So if we, always have like some questions in the I'm doing well text channel of my Discord, that'd be dope. If you want to join my Discord, it's probably in the description of this podcast. This podcast is only going to be on YouTube, by the way, for now. I don't have an interest in putting it elsewhere. I just want to make like a video every week. So this is letting me do that. Also, I want to acknowledge, this was super fucking boring. Not for me. Like I was able to talk the whole time, I think. For you. So I'm essentially apologizing. But if you listen to I'm gonna do it again. 40 minutes of this so far. If you listen to 40 minutes of this, I guess you wanted to listen. So thank you. I guess. I shouldn't, you know, talk bad. I should be grateful. I should be like, hey, you, us, look at us. Yeah, it's dope because this can be as bad as possible and it doesn't matter. I think I already said that, right? I'm repeating myself. I do like boba now though. You know? I get the I don't even know what it's called. Holy shit. It's like I'll try to describe it to you, okay? Because I forgot the name of it. It's pink and it's the most basic one apparently. The way I think about it is it's like you know what butter chicken is to Indian food? It's like this flavor of boba to boba. Or what is it? Milk tea? I've heard some people get a little upset when you don't call it by the right name. But we know what we're talking about. So, I mean, sometimes it's good to get, names right. But like, we're talking about milk tea here, folks. Or are we talking about boba? What's the difference? I don't know. I can't remember the name of the boba flavor, and now I'm going to look it up. Okay. Most basic pink boba drink. It's not strawberry bubble. I've never heard of that. What is that? Okay. 9 popular spoonuniversity.com. Okay. If you're a boba noob, you're going to get these flavors. Okay, not this. I'm going to mispronounce it. Is it taro? Taro milk tea. That's my favorite so far. I also really, really like Thai iced tea, but only from like Thai restaurants. I don't really like Thai iced tea from like boba shops. I don't know. I think it tastes kind of weird. But yeah, taro milk tea is my favorite boba. I did not think I was going to talk about boba on my first episode. The only boba I have an interest in talking about personally is Boba Fett. But here I am, dedicating an entire segment to boba milk tea. I think your safest bet is just to say all of it, boba milk tea, rather than just saying boba or milk tea. Because boba are the balls. It's also a very good bounty hunter. But how is it that I'm both simultaneously saying, I don't want to talk about this thing, but then just continuing to talk about it? That's ridiculous. I know we're nearing the end of this episode, so let's do some housekeeping. No. Thank you for watching the first episode. I really hope that I can record one on Fridays and post it on Mondays. So if you want to maybe tell me to mention something in this, throw it in the Discord, and I will try to get to it. I'm not saying like, well, we'll see if we get to it if time allows, but I'll see if I have something to say about what you got for me. If you did make it this far, well, hospitals are pretty packed, but I would see a doctor because something's wrong with you. No reason you should listen to this. That's the thing. When you make something creative or whatever, you would think, you want to drive traffic and you want to keep people doing it. I'm going to mention multiple times. I'm going to. I'm not going to try to sell you on this podcast, but not only that, I'm going to just tell you its flaws straight to your face because it doesn't matter. this is once again more for me, and I'm doing well. I'm good. I'm good. So I think I have no idea how to end this. I said I've been practicing in the shower or whatever, or like thinking about what this episode would be. I only ever do the intro. I never I never think about what the outro would be. But once again, if you watch this, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Make sure you join my Discord, and thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. Okay. Looking forward to that project. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Bye.